All right, let's talk about hiring in Turkey. If you're building out your 2026 strategy, this is for you. We're going to dive into how you can build an incredible team there compliantly and fast, and here's the kicker, without having to set up a local company right away. So you've got your eye on Turkey, right? And why wouldn't you? The talent pool is amazing, the location is strategic, it's a no-brainer. But then comes the big question, the one that stops a lot of companies in their tracks. How do you actually hire people there, legally and fast, without going through the whole headache of setting up a company? That's the puzzle we're going to solve right now. Okay, let's set the scene. We're talking about the Turkish expansion challenge. Tapping into this amazing market without having to incorporate right off the bat. For so many tech and SaaS companies, Turkey is this perfect hub between Europe and Asia. The problem? You need to act now, but your legal setup just isn't there yet. And that's where things can get tricky. So does this sound like your situation? You've got plans to bring in, say, 10 to 15 of your key foreign managers. You also need to hire a solid local team, maybe 30 to 50 people for sales or development. And of course, the timeline is, well, it was probably yesterday. But you don't have a Turkish company. This is that classic high-pressure moments where the decision you make next is absolutely critical. So when you're under that kind of pressure, it's really tempting to look for shortcuts, right? But let me tell you, this is exactly where things can go wrong. We're talking about the high cost of those shortcuts. Because in Turkey, doing things informally isn't just a little bit risky. It creates massive, immediate legal problems. Let's dig into why that is. Here's something you absolutely need to understand about Turkey's legal system. It is not a beg for forgiveness later kind of place. Not at all. It's very procedural, it's very documentation heavy, and the penalties, they're not some far-off risk. They are immediate, they are administrative, and they can literally shut down your operations before you've even started. So what are these shortcuts I'm talking about? Well, here's a list of things you should never, ever do. Paying people under the table. Trying to get clever by calling your employees consultants to dodge payroll. Bringing in foreign staff without getting them proper work permits. Or simply ignoring Social Security registration. Every single one of these is a major red flag, a direct violation that comes with some very serious consequences. Okay, so if all those shortcuts are a definite no-go, what's the right way to do it? What's the professional, compliant way forward? Well, the answer is a structure called an employer of record, or EOR. This is the solution. It's the fully compliant framework that's built specifically for this exact market entry scenario. So what exactly is an employer of record? Let's break it down. Think of it like this. An EOR is a local Turkish company that acts as the legal employer for your team, on your behalf. They handle all the tricky stuff, the local employment contracts, the payroll, the taxes, the social security, all of it. You still manage your team's day-to-day work, you're still the boss, but the EOR takes care of all the legal and HR heavy lifting. And this is a really important point. The EOR model isn't some kind of clever workaround or a legal gray area. Not at all. It's a completely legitimate structure that's actually built on the foundations of Turkish law. We're talking the labor law, social security law, you name it. But here's the crucial part. Having the model isn't enough. It's all about how well it's executed. And to make sure that execution is absolutely perfect, you need a playbook. So that's what we've got. The 5-point compliance playbook. Think of these as the 5 essential, non-negotiable pillars for a totally risk-free EOR setup in Turkey. So here they are. These are the 5 things that protect you. Number 1, your provider has to be a real registered Turkish company. That's table stakes. 2, they need their own in-house experts for payroll and tax, no outsourcing the important stuff. 3, and this one is a huge deal, they have to be masters of structuring work permits for your foreign managers. 4, they've got to be on top of all the employment law risks. And finally, number 5, they need to look at something called permanent establishment risk. And we'll get to what that means in just a second. I really want to linger on this point for a moment because it's so important. Getting those work permits structured correctly for foreign managers, that is the most delicate part of this entire operation. It's not just filling out a form. You have to deal with capital requirements, employee ratios, salary rules. It's complex. And honestly, getting this right is what separates a real professional EOR partner from just another payroll company. All right, let's talk about that 5th point, permanent establishment risk or PE risk.
What is that? Well, in simple terms, if your team in Turkey starts acting too much like a permanent office, signing major contracts, generating a lot of local revenue, then the Turkish authorities could decide that your main company, your parent company, owes Turkish corporate tax. It's a huge potential liability. A good EOR partner helps you see that risk coming and navigate around it.
Okay, so this all leads to a really important strategic question. When is an EOR the right move? And when should you just bite the bullet and set up your own Turkish company? To answer that, let's put them side by side and do a direct comparison.
This chart really says it all, doesn't it? Look at the EOR column. You can start onboarding people immediately. There's no big capital outlay, and you don't have to worry about corporate tax filings or heavy accounting. Plus, if you decide to pull out, it's a clean exit. Now look at the subsidiary side. Setup takes weeks, you need to put up capital, you've got the whole shebang of corporate tax and accounting, and leaving means a formal, often lengthy liquidation process. It's pretty clear. EOR is all about speed and flexibility.
So here's the best way to think about it. An EOR isn't meant to replace a subsidiary forever. Instead, it's a strategic bridge. It's the perfect tool to get you into the market fast, to run a pilot program, or to cover that initial period before you're ready to commit to a full incorporation. It's all about being smart and efficient with your strategy. All right, so now you've got the full picture. How do you make that final decision? Well, choosing between an EOR and setting up your own company really just boils down to taking a hard look at your business model and what you need to achieve right now. Let's make this super practical. When is EOR the right choice for you? Well, if you need to get your managers on the ground like yesterday, if you're hiring a local team quickly, if you're just testing the waters in the Turkish market, or if you're just not ready to incorporate yet, EOR is hands down your best bet. On the flip side, when is incorporation the better move? If you're already making serious money in Turkey, if you absolutely need to send out local invoices, or if you're planning a big long-term investment, then yeah, it's probably time to set up your own company. Okay, before we finish up, I just want to circle back one last time to the biggest and most expensive mistakes we see companies make. Think of this as your final checklist of what to avoid. Don't use those fake consultancy agreements. Don't partner with sketchy, informal payroll guys. And this is a big one. Don't just pick a big global platform that doesn't have real deep expertise in Turkey. Trust me, the regulators in Turkey are very thorough, and they will find these mistakes. And really, that brings us to the most important takeaway of all. In a complex market like Turkey, an employer of record is not just about payroll. It's so much more. It's your legal structure, it's your tax engineering, it's your risk mitigation, all rolled into one. In short, it's a core part of your market entry strategy. So as you're mapping out your expansion into Turkey, I want to leave you with one final thought. Ask yourself this. Is your plan built for speed, or is it built to last? Because with the right professional EOR structure in place, you can absolutely have both.